Hey guys. Oh, just thought I'd come on. There's no real reason tonight, just because bored. Kind of just don't know what to really do other than go live. Haven't really been out shopping much, but well, I take that back. I have been checking the traps, but my dad has. I really don't expect many animals in the set out right now, so it's just kind of a Hail Mary shot. There, a blockage. Talked about this yesterday. That it's a blockage to the spot. The spot is actually it's just basically an entrance and exit. It's only water flowing in and out of the facility. So I got it blocked. Not a high priority spot. It's not a spot that's gonna have loads of animals. It's don't expect a lot of animals really to be in there. It's just something that's blocking it to prevent the animals from coming in and eating all the fish, the otters, the beavers from doing damage, the muskrats from burrowing, whatever the word is. Hey Matthew, hey buddy. What's up, buddy? Not much, Corey. Fine. First time on your chat show. How's it going? Pretty good. Was on yesterday. Decided to come on a little bit later today. Not sure what I want to talk about. Really leaving up to you guys. Whatever you want to talk about. What's up? Not much, Coonslayer. How are you doing? Pretty good, Matthew. Hanging. I guess I've gotten pretty good at being like, I'm doing fine. But honestly, I'm hanging in there. There's not much hanging in there. Could be better, I guess. Anything you guys want to talk about tonight? Fishing, trapping. What else is there? I don't know what else. Anything really. Hunting. I don't do a lot of hunting, but I could talk about it. I know a bit about it. Whatever you guys want to talk about. You want to talk about traps? You want to talk about leg holds? Got a hair in my mouth. Because I own dogs and a very fluffy retriever. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go right over here and I'm gonna grab a dog proof to show Matthew what dog proof is, the type of trap I suggest for him. Be right back. Right over here. I think you see there's a boat here. This side of the boat or the left side of the boat? He's on the left side here. There's the big traps. There's that, the axe cover. There's the dog proof. Here's the dog proof, Matthew. This is what I suggest you start out with, Matthew. Let's see, where's the light at? Suggest you start out with one of these. It's a dog proof. You set it like this. You squeeze it, right? You squeeze the thing like this. You squeeze it. Put this over the end. And you lock it on the trigger here, trigger mechanism, and that will hold it. And what you do is put dog food in here, and the raccoon will reach in here, grab the trigger, lifting the trigger up. See the little trigger right here is moving, right there. See that in piece that lifts it up, sets the trigger off, and then they get caught. Then you go dispatch them with a little pellet gun, a little 17 pellet gun with 1,200 feet per second. This is just a Duke. This is pre painting of the Duke dog proofs. This is probably I don't know how old it is, but it's one of the originals we bought. Not original, but like original we bought as a family. We only have one, but that's a dog proof. Comes with a little bit of chain and a swivel. You want to stake it with a rebar or earth anchor, and that's how you want to trap, Matthew. If you're going to trap, I suggest starting out with like this with dog proofs. If you're going to start with your uncle, what is it? Your uncle, not your uncle, but your grandfather. If you want to get into it with that stuff, this is the way I suggest you go. It's a lot safer than the leg holds and the conibears, which are square body grip traps. I got a dozen fiberglass drowning rods for the hags today in the garage, putting them together for beaver. Yeah. I don't know if I could justify the price to get them shipped here. I heard they're quite expensive to get shipped, but I would do the drowning rods. But I mean, it's hard for me because the river that I trap on is very rocky, and it's not easy just to jam something in the ground. And if I'm 2 feet from the bank, I'm over my head, so like I don't want to be unsafe. And some of you may not know, but I can't swim. I don't know how to swim, so I don't want to necessarily fall in the river. So if that makes sense. Now I can tread water, but I can't swim. I've never really learned how to swim. Just never did. But at the same time, though, I fish on the jetties in the oceans. I fish all the place. I just have to be extra careful, more careful than the average person, because if I fall in, I'll die. So I have to be extra careful. So I'm always a little more careful than everybody else. Do you have any vid of you getting your hands in the 220? I was live on Facebook when it happened. It got caught. I was right here, got caught, randomly got it out into the video. I never posted it because, yeah, there's some cursing going on, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want that out there. But I got caught in the Savage Joe 220. So I got caught right across the knuckles here, right across the knuckles. Like, let's see here, across the knuckles. So right across the two here and across, and then ring finger got caught, and a sliver of skin here got caught. Sliver of skin and ring finger got caught like that. So I had both hands in there like this. They're both caught in there. So this hand wasn't coming out very easy. So I had to literally rip this skin out and then pull the finger out, rip it past the magnum jaws, and then squeeze the jaw and then pull it past my knuckles. It hurt. There's a lot of it hurt. Hurt for this ring finger, hurt for a good week and a half, 2 weeks. It was aching. Yeah, it hurt. Talk about fishing. What kind of fishing, Matthew? These other guys want to talk about trapping, so whatever they want to talk about. Matthew, you come over here and talk about fishing with me if you want. I mean, nothing against you or anything, but yeah. But you live next to me, Matthew. You can talk about this stuff anytime you want. So, in fact, we and you were talking on the phone today. So, I'll be right back and go put the dog food back. No, I'm gonna turn the light on. I think it's too dark. You guys are gonna end up having a bit of a couple blue dots here, and the light's gonna be bad, but I'm just gonna leave the light on. I'm not too worried about the backlight. It's just the way it is in the garage, and I don't want to wake my family up from in here. Talk about salmon fishing and fishes. What do you want to know about salmon fishing? I mean, you got the salmon rod. So, bobber and jig on the Wilson River, 1.5 ounces bobber, 1 ounce of lead, 1/4 ounce marabou salmon jig, drift it by, and you'll catch them. That's it. No extra bait on there, and you'll catch them. That's all I do. You can buy your salmon jigs at dingerjigs.com, and he makes them. Don't buy the 5-aught jigs. Buy the 4-aught or 3-aught or 4. Buy the 3-aught, a bit smaller jig, and they won't snag as many salmon. There you go. Any color really will work. It just depends on what they want that day. There's your answer to catching the salmon. How I've been catching them for years and years and years. So, there's your answer, Matthew. Come on, get that off of there. We go. See what I got in here. Pack putty. What kind of lures? Otter lure, land lure, pilot lure, all kinds of things. I don't really know what even talk about tonight. I have to quit live because I don't know what to do tonight. I'm literally bored out of my mind. Can't go anywhere today, so it's not like I can just go drive around because I don't have a car. So, I mean, I'm just here. I'm gonna go look around and see what I can find in the garage here. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. How many traps do you have total? I haven't counted, but I have, let's see, a dozen, 2 dozen, so 3 dozen. It's about 4.5, 5 dozen, 6 dozen maybe. So mostly conibears, some like olds. I don't do, my line is usually about 2 dozen traps, so I don't run. I know Iowa Trapper just uploaded. I don't run 600, 700, 800 traps. I'm not a huge line person. I don't trap from a vehicle. I can't trap from a vehicle. So I can trap from a vehicle. I can't trap on the side of the road. So like I can't get out of the truck, stand trap on the side of the road. It's against the law. I have to be 200 yards from the road in order to start trapping. I think something like that. So I can't just So I can't just trap anywhere. Anybody out there trapping beaver yet? Out here? Personally, my family, no. But we do have a blockage that we caught a 58-pounder in there, so it's just a matter of time before one swims up the creek and gets caught. So it could have happened it could have happened right now. I just don't know. I haven't checked it yet, but we will. There's going to be dead beaver. I can promise you that. I have no doubt in my mind when we go set this little spot over here close by that's this load with animals. That first night we're either going to get a double, a single beaver, or a double. No doubt in my mind. It's just going to happen. Last year Christmas Day we got a double, and then double on beaver and then a muskrat. So, and Christmas last year in December alone we got 14 animals total. Really, I can't speak. 14 animals total in December alone, and that was out of a tiny micro swamp that's about 1,000 feet long and 6 feet wide, and that's basically a swamp and it's a ditch. That's the section we trapped. And we had 14 traps in there, so they weren't going anywhere. And then later in the season, we had 14 traps in there, and they continued to get around the traps. They smartened up, they went right around them, and then they finally slipped up because we moved a few around and they got caught. What kind of bobbers do you use? I use Hawken bobbers, Hawken floats, or another good one is Phil. Big fish sliders. How many traps do you have total? I think I went over that. And Matthew, Phil is a wood balsa float. They ride in the water a lot different than Hawken floats do, and they ride very well. They don't bounce around a lot with the swells. They stay very vertical. They track, so they go through the water well. They don't bounce all around. Basically, they track through the water well. That makes sense, Matthew. The way it floats down the river is very straight. It's not all over the place. And trying to explain to you so you understand, Matthew. So if you put a bobber and it floats like this, or it floats like this because of the current, the Phil bobbers float like this. The other ones kind of float a little bit like this. So therefore your bait's moving around down there a bit. You should stick your hand in one. No thanks. I have no way of getting out of it right now. Is there a state bounty on your nutrient? No. We don't get really any bounties on anything here. The Oregon State just found one of the biggest elk mounts ever. The road crew found, and the state took it from the people. So it was one of the second biggest in the state in record. Second biggest on record in the state. And the road crew found it. They told ODF and Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. They came and took it from them and said, "You're not allowed to have this." Basically, so they jacked it from them. So there's no bounty. They don't care about the outdoorsmen, basically, is what I'm saying. And in Oregon right now, they're trying to trap any fishing, any hunting, any trapping. They're trying to anything that involves hooking, shooting, skinning, anything like that whatsoever. They're trying to ban completely. Trying to get rid of everything in the outdoors completely right now. So in Oregon. But do I think it's going to pass? No, not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. If they do pass it, there's going to be a lot of pissed off fishermen. They're going to have major issues on their hands. You should stick your hand in 1.5. I don't even think I can set a 1.5 right now without actually setting it on my knee. And they're on cables. So I'll see if I can find them. But, yeah, they're all on cables. All cables. Let's see. Do you want to stick my tongue in a lure? No. What do I have that I can do? Not going to put it in a big Belial or RBT. Trap here. Nothing in that one. Nothing in that one. Yeah, you think about there for a second, but no way. No way. That was the lock. I can't get out of the lockup because I have no way of getting my hand out. I'm not experienced enough to sit there and figure out how to get my hand out, and I don't feel like doing it on camera. Like Chopper J does, he has someone there with him to help him get out. I have nobody. Everybody in this house right now is asleep. And they get up at 3 in the morning to go to work, and I'm not waking them up to help me get out. And the garage door is shut, so I would be screwed. And that's exactly what happened with the 220. And I couldn't get out. I had to rip my hands out of it, and that hurt. My hand still hurt. My hand still hurts. At random times, my hand would just start aching. It just ache. Like it would just be in pain. Let's see what else. What else? Hey, Matthew. You want to talk about salmon egg cures? This is the stuff you got to get. Fire cure by Potskis. Very, very little sprinkling. Nope. That's how you cure your eggs. Salmon eggs for fishing right there. We don't do loose eggs. We do the skein, but they're Potskis Fire Cure. And this one is Rogue Red. That's the one we use. Rogue Red. And then what we do with that, Matthew, we put a little of this fire power in there. It's basically a krill powder. Fire power in there. What else is there? Of course, you put them on borax and also fire brine them. Also fire brine your eggs with the liquid brine, fire brine. This is chartreuse. It's an experiment I came up with to try this year. Chartreuse. Ideal for brining herring, shrimp, alewife, and other baits. I brine eggs in this. You can read the instructions on it. I did that. So, and then of course, personally, I sat there messed around with this stuff. I shouldn't even be touching this right now because even a speck of it would just ruin your whole countertop. It is powder dye. It is literally dye that's hardened and then crunched up into powder, so it will stain everything. This one is bright or brilliant fluorescent red. A speck of this stained the part of the countertop, and you still can't get it out. It says incredibly vibrant color used on eggs, herring, shrimp, prawn. Used sparingly at first, as dyes are extremely potent. Add more dye if necessary. Super potent, vibrant. Caution: dyes will permanently stain clothing, counters, sinks. Only use in suitable areas. Avoid inhaling dust if sensitive. Wear dust mask. Yeah, this stuff is like powdered dye. It's ridiculous. It's called Procure Badass Bait Dyes. If you guys are gonna make like fishing baits or you gotta make your own lures, this stuff is incredible. Incredibly potent. Incredible. Procure Badass Bait Dyes. Absolutely the best. If you're trying to dye anything, but it's dye any kind of powder, baits, lures, this is the stuff to use. But remember, if you get this on your hands, it will stain your hands, so wear gloves. It'll stain everything. Of course, you got the salts here. What else? I also have orange badass bait dye. And of course, you have this here. And this is a muskrat skull, part of a muskrat skull here. Or Nutria skull. I think it's part of actually a beaver skull. Part of a beaver skull. The tooth's back here because it's hanging off. It's actually not attached, but part of the muskrat or beaver skull right there. There's a tooth. Someone wanted the tooth, so my brother broke it off and they decided they didn't want it. So yeah. Penis bone of something, I think. Or what is this? So this is the tooth of something. I think these are the beaver teeth. I think these are beaver teeth here. Right there, you can tell. Beaver teeth. Beaver teeth, yeah, the beaver teeth. So or something like that. This is the other tooth here. Beaver teeth. They go way up into the head, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. I got other schools inside. So what are you trapping right now? How many sets do you have? How many sets do I have out right now? So I have two main blocking the main channel, which the main channel is like that wide. It fits a 280. 280 is blocking the main channel. Above the 280s, off the sides are 160. So there's two. Then there's one in the swamp, way up in the swamp, like up in the golf course. There's another one there. There's two other ones. So total 5 sets, I think. 5 traps out. They're just there to get rid of the animals. They want them eradicated. The chances of actually catching something in these traps after catching those animals, slim. The traps above have very slim chance of catching anything, unless they're living on the property, which there's not a lot of water up there. The only way they're going to get caught now or later in the years if they come up. So we caught mink coming up, we caught otter coming up, we've caught beaver coming up, we've caught all kinds of things coming up over the years. That's until we decide to go set the other traps out. When we get those out, when we can decide the other ones, the whole pack basket right there, all those things to the brim is going to get put out. All those traps are getting put out, and a bunch of other traps getting put out. Most of the conifers. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to put out still. We haven't even gotten into our main set yet. This is just kind of for fun right now. It's not even actively trapping animals. It's just blockage and wait for them to come to us. What the heck? I must have a reaction to something. It must be that dye. Some dye must be on the. Man, I'm starting to turn red right there. You see that? Right there. I do use the liquid brine on my herring to catch big lingcod and black rockfish. And yeah, yeah, yeah. I just use gulp baits off the jetty, and they work fine. A lot of people think when you go to the jetty, you got to use big 6-inch plus baits like you use in the ocean or out in the boats. That's not true. I use little 3-inch, 4-inch baits in the jetty and come off as stringers full. So you don't need a big bait out there. Yes, you're going to catch lingcod, but I will outfish. Let's put it this way. I will. It's that my family has outfished 90% of the lingcod fishermen on the jetty that we fish, the Tillamook jetty. When they're out there targeting lingcod, they'll come back with nothing, and we'll come back with either a lingcod or 2 lingcod and a bunch of stringer full of rockfish. Or at least we'll catch 6 rockfish, a limit between the 3 of us, almost every time. Very, very rarely. I think I remember once we came back with 2 rockfish out of 3 people using small baits. People overcomplicate it and think, they go out and charter and they use on the chart on the jetty. It's a completely different fishery. Entire different fishery. But small baits, those 6 fish are between me, my dad, and my brother. And we kind of all catch them together and we keep ourselves and then we add them up. So it depends on who's catching them, but we will fish for a couple hours or for a while, move, fish a while, move, fish a while, move. Because the fish if they're not there where you're fishing, they're not going to be there. I mean, you're just not going to catch them there. They're not there. They're not there. Yeah, you would think they're moving back and forth, but those fish are in the rocks. Sometimes they're not out in the middle of the ocean. The rougher it is, the more they're tucked in the rocks. And we think they come out, grab things, and turn around, go back in the rocks, and scoot right back in the rocks. So pop out, grab stuff, and eat. So the fishing on the jetty is hard. Jetty fishing is the furthest thing from a beginner's type of fishery, but it's very technique specific, very hard. A lot of it's dangerous. Let's just put it that way. It's dangerous, and it's not the easiest fishery in the world. What else is there? Oh, what else is there? Oh, son of a gun. You need to fix this. Went out to the forest, got saw me in the forest, and everything, the edge is perfect. Hand sharpened, perfect. Dented. I hit a rock because we were clearing path. There was actually cutting low to the ground and hit a rock. Then cut low to the ground and hit a rock again. So I actually have to fix this tomorrow. Sucks because this has been sharp since last year. Oh, I rolled that good. I rolled that real good. But trying to help my dad and brother out. I guess it is what it is. I had this sharp all last season, all year this year, cutting stuff and didn't ding it once. Went to cut something near the ground up in this forest and nicked it. So I gotta fix that. Do you live close to the ocean? I live hour and 20 minutes from the ocean. I think hour and 20 minutes. So, my grandparents live in about an hour from me, and I go over there all the time. I mean, that's probably the most regular drive for me ever is going to the Tillamook, which is about an hour from me. Hour, depending on how fast we were driving. Sometimes 45 minutes. But that's like hopping in the car and going to the store and then coming back for me. I'm so used to it by now. It seems really close for me, at least. It's through the mountains and you're pretty much there. This thing is dinged up. Oh, I almost cut myself. Nope. That's bent there. Ooh, there's a lot of nicks in this. I didn't think there was that many nicks. Yeah, I gotta fix this tomorrow. Damn. There's beavers starting to show up on the coast. Yeah. They're moving around a bit. When the water starts flowing like this, when we start getting lots of rain, they start moving. They're in there. They're there during the summer, but they're usually in their lodge tucked away, especially if there's not a lot of water. So the property that I trap, that I can target the beaver, there's 2 lodges that are actually up under the bank and hidden into the swamp, and there's other lodges there, and they're in there too. So, and I'm not talking like monstrous lodges like seamen. So I'm talking about dug up under the bank, living in there. And sometimes you'll walk right over it and not even know it's there, unless you look from the other side and look into the bank. So, and sometimes that bank den is underwater, so like you can't see the entrance at all. You won't know the difference. They literally burrow it out. You walk past and look at a hole, and the hole's this far below the top, and then there's a hole about that big, right? And then they go up in there and live in there. And you look at the top, it looks perfectly level with grass and humps and rutted out like a swamp. You would never know there's a den in there. But the hole's like that big. They're going straight up in there. But never found that one if the water didn't go down. So they're in there. You would never know they're there. You could be fishing spot, walk right over them, and then be fishing. Next thing you know, something shoots out in front of you, and that's when you figure it out. How much fur have you caught this year? For me, we started November 15th, 2 nutria, 2 muskrat, but that's just because, like I said, I haven't even gotten into the actually targeting them. This is just put in, waiting for them to come to us. So, do I think we're gonna get something until we go out to the other property? Probably not, but I'm not too worried about it because I know if we go to the other property that it's gonna be it's going to be, let's put it this way, it's going to be our money maker. It's going to be our money spot, if you will. So that's what I'm waiting for. I don't even consider the chops out there as really trapping. It's put there as blockage, and if we get something, we get something. If not, who cares? It's not that big of a deal right now. I heard Oregon made a bunch of drugs legal, but they want you to make fishing and trapping legal. Yeah. They've been pushing the laws that for heroin addicts they should have facilities that give them the drugs to help them cope with it. So they basically give them the doses of drugs to help fight it, so they fight the urge. They basically give them heroin. They basically give them opioids, and that's how they fight it in Portland. But don't even get me started on that. That's just stupid. Yeah, it's funny. Someone was on Iowa Live the other day. Iowa Trapper. He traps in Iowa, but obviously they're talking about this and that, and they're trying to attack people about. Basically they're attacking them, saying you should be. They're going to hurt your family, this and that, all stuff. And I got on there just like we'll stop killing animals when you stop murdering living plants that produce oxygen for us to live on. They didn't like that very much. It was just funny. It made me laugh when I did that. And of course, Adam was like, "No more comments, Anthony." I'm like, oh, crud. And I basically on it said, I'm basically going after them as a protective. I'm protecting you. Like I'm a very like protective person, so I'm protecting you in a sense. Like maybe saying something to them so like leave, but I'm very protective of people. If that makes sense. Yeah, I'm very protective of people. Good night. Love the chat. Good night. Thanks. I'm gonna actually get off too. This is a short 30-minute live. I got to go watch Iowa's video. So good night, guys. I'm getting off. Have a good one.